Hello everyone, my name is Michalina Kłakowska and I'm from Center for Systems Solutions. In Polish it's quite mouthful, it's Stowarzyszenie Centrum Rozwiązań Systemowych, so you don't need to remember that. We are Wrocław-based NGO dealing with widely understood sustainability issues. And today I'm here representing our Horizon project called FOODMISSION, and our tagline is quite long, but it's worth reading out. FOODMISSION unites 10 partners from 8 countries, combining expertise from academia, industry, civil society. This multidisciplinary approach ensures that solutions are backed by research, practical knowledge, and community insights. I'm mentioning it because as we are Horizon Europe project, we have only 10 partners, which is quite small consortium for a Horizon project, but one part of our philosophy was that we want to have this very multidisciplinary team, which also translates to what we are doing in the project, involving multi-actor groups in all activities that we are doing. And we are doing a few different things. We have core pillars that support our project. First of all, something we call T-Labs, which is transformation labs. And in many projects, we have living labs. We called our living labs transformation labs because one of our goals through those T-Labs is to transform how people are thinking about sustainable food systems. What does it mean? So transformation labs are organized in 7 countries, with Wrocław as one of the T-Labs. And in the T-Labs, we organize activity with multi-actor groups from diverse backgrounds. Just following what I said at the beginning, we want to ensure that each T-Lab has participants from government, but also from the community, from different stakeholder groups, including producers, and retailers, because what we want to bring with those T-Labs is the understanding of what is sustainable food systems, and I can already tell you that people have very different opinions what that means, which was also very interesting part of all of our activities. But also other things. And up until today, we had 5 rounds of activities in 7 countries again, where we learned one about what are people perceptions about sustainable food systems. Secondly, what kind of stakeholders should be involved in discussions about sustainable food systems. But also which relates to the next pillar of our project, which I will tell you a little bit about in a moment. What are the needs of the people and the questions that people have about sustainable food systems, what they don't understand, what are the gaps in knowledge, and also how we can bring that to them in form of engagement that they could bring into their day-to-day life. So all the inputs from the T-Labs are there used for project priorities, but also to guide the design of the platform that we are introducing in the project. And that's an example of what we are doing in the project during last activity. We mapped what information about food is something that people find important for their day-to-day food choices, and also which information that they receive are easy or difficult to comprehend. But going back to the second pillar of our project, it's citizen science, because while our aim is to build platform, the platform aim itself is to actually gather additional data from the citizens, and the platform we are building is being designed to actually gather information about food habits that people have, food waste habits, consumer habits that people have, and all this data we would like to use to provide some recommendations for policy actors on which potential issues, challenges, and gaps to address in the future. One of the parts of how we want to do this, how we want to ask people to provide us data in the long run, is gamification activities and also additional fun knowledge activities. And gamification is one of the elements that we want to do in the project. So our platform will contain some games, etc. But all of that is mostly to keep people engaged, because we see it as the biggest challenge in the project and with the topic itself. We can engage people while they are in the meeting, but how can we do that when they leave the meetings, the workshops? Can they actually bring this knowledge and thinking about the sustainable food systems beyond that? And ending with one thing that will gather all of what I've been discussing is FOODMISSION platform, which we will develop, including app that will be aimed at the citizens to help them learn more about sustainable food choices and also help them create certain habits. This is an example of app. And just to give you a general idea of the project aims, I discussed mostly. So just for you to look at it, thank you very much for your attention.
Good afternoon. My name is Jan den Boer, and I'm working in the foodCIRCUS project. And we also did a little gamification, more old school, offline. And we did also some other things, and I would like to share something, the things that we did in Wroclaw schools on food waste measurement and reduction. Circular solutions for keeping food waste out of Central Europe's schools. That's the total title of our project. It will be probably prolong to 2027, but we are getting closer to the finish line. Partners, so we are not a Horizon project, but an Interact project. And for this type of project, we're a bit too much scientific research orientated. So we cannot use the word research in our reports. They don't like that, but we're doing it anyway. What has been happening in the United States? There were some plans in the 1930s and 1960s to have an economy of things that are planned to be broken. Not so nice for the environment, but good for the economy was the idea. And it was maybe not implemented. Maybe some companies are actually doing it. What is happening in Poland, but not only in Poland, also in Hungary, in Czech Republic, in many countries, that if you take a look at food in schools, that there are some, there's kind of a planned wastage. There are dietary regulations saying every child should eat this and this much. It's based on what they need per day, and 30% of that is for the lunch. So the children have a warm lunch. Like in the Netherlands, something like this doesn't exist, but in many other countries, children every day get a warm lunch. And it's taken very serious by the ministry, by the health inspection, and by the schools, and a bit less so by the children. And that's where the problem arrives. So to see what we have been doing, we went to 3 primary schools, 3 kindergartens, took a look at what is prepared and what is wasted. And what is wasted is basically 2 things. Things that are made but never served, so that you can actually use for some other people to eat it, and things that are on the plate but not eaten. And these things we try to convey with them, but first we need to know how much is there. Soup, Polish children, if they don't eat soup every day, they die immediately. In other countries it's different, but soup is really very important. And second dish, where we have a protein part, like the fish and the meat, starch and vegetables, and we took a look at all of these components. In the kitchen, it's like a kind of a kingdom itself, so we were kind of tolerated. In other countries, in Italy, in Austria, in Hungary, the kitchen personnel is actually doing the research. In Poland, not a chance. They are there for making the food and they will not help you. It's not their thing. They also get always comments from parents, from children, so they are in a kind of situation, everybody's complaining about the food and they're the ones doing it, so they're not very willing to help in research. So that was kind of a problem, so we had to do it ourselves. And the leftovers we took for further research every day. So the first results, we took a look at what is actually made, what is planned by the school, so not made but planned. Every day on the door of the school you can see what is on the menu and how much grams of every component is there. These are the weekly averages. What is important for us now, it's all around a bit less than 600 grams. P, primary school, K, kindergarten. Surprisingly, there's not much a difference between kindergarten, so children of 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, and primary school, children from 6, 7 up till 14 years old. They get the planned amount of food is kind of the same. What is actually happening? We are going in there, and here we have like an underground canteen where children are sitting. It's very loud, very dark, not very pleasant. And here we have an example of a newer one, which is more open, still loud, but at least there's a lot of light. And here we see preparation left over, so what is not served. And here's things that are coming back. What we see here, like 4 plates that were given to the students. They sit a few minutes with it and then they hand it back in. It's not touched too much, not eaten, and that happens quite a lot. Results, we have here 4 different graphs. A, B is from the kitchen perspective, so amounts per planned meal. How much is prepared, how much is made but not served, so stays in the kitchen. And from the student perspective, we have here C and D, the food that they ate actually, so what they got and ate, and the plate waste, what was left on the plate. Now what is here interesting, like there's a lot of data and I cannot speak too much about it, but one thing, we saw that there's a plan of a bit less than 600 grams per pupil, and what actually is made, it's a bit less, but it's very close to the 600 grams per pupil. School number 5, they had a problem with the meat delivery, so they have completely different data, doesn't fit. And school number 1, they were cheating. I'll get back to that later. What we see, what is eaten, the pattern is very similar, what is made and what is eaten. And we see that the schools that were kind of normal, they are all having about the same amount of eaten food, but also about the same amount of wasted food. And this is not a coincidence. And another thing that we see, if you take a look at the soup, in the primary schools, the soup is just put on a table and students can take it. In kindergartens, they sit in their classes and everybody gets a bowl of soup, sits with the soup, and then says goodbye to the soup, and the soup is ending up as plate waste. But in the primary schools, the plate waste is less because people have, or the children, they have a choice to take it. For the second dish, they don't have this choice, they just get it. Okay, going on. But this is an important thing for further actions. If we put everything together, we see that both for soup and for the second dish, it's about 45%. If you take a look inside the second dish, like the vegetables are going a bit less than the other parts. Like everybody who has a memory of how things were at school or has children at school knows that vegetables is a difficult thing. And what we see, every school wastes 45 to 50% of everything that is made. And this is in all schools wherever you go in Poland. Very similar. And based on that, it looks like that these regulations cause really a big problem. And we want to get over this problem. Today we had a meeting with the chairwoman of the Parliamentary Commission on Food Wastage. And like she saw the problem and promised us that she will start working on it. And we hope that really something is going to happen, because this is a very simple measure that can have really a lot of effects. Another thing, we asked the people, if the children that eat lunch at school come home, do they get another lunch? So not the evening meal, but the lunch. 80% says yes, always or often. So that's another part of the problem. Nobody takes it serious, but the schools and the caterers. What we did apart from that, so we know what is there, what can we do to make it less? Awareness raising, food optimization, very short, make less, very simple. Nudging, I will get to that, redistribution, take it from the schools, what is left over, and put it to people in need. This is actually what you think it is, and it really works for the man amongst us. It's like the ancient hunting instinct, and it gets cleaner toilets. But that is what nudging is about. We took nudging as an idea, put it in the school, told the children, here is written in Polish, take as much as you will eat, and then come to vote. So then they came with their empty plates or nearly empty plates to us. We told them, take a big bowl or a small bowl, based on how big how much food is on your plate, and then choices like Lewandowski, Schwelmtek, there's a lot of different options, and children really like this thing. And the idea is that we don't teach them anything, just we make them behave better. We went to 2 primary schools and 1 kindergarten, same period, year later, did exactly the same, told them make the same thing, the same amount. And the problem is, what we see here, they did not make the same amount, which, like diplomatically speaking, fucked up our research. Because if the kitchen makes less, we don't know it's because our intervention or it's just because they made less. For the plate leftovers, it's more from the pupil perspective, so that is better, but it's really a problem. But we see that there is less waste, what we can see here and also here. But we cannot exclude the idea that it's just because less was made, and naturally there's also less waste then. And that's already one of my last slides. The treatment of residues, that's like another part in our project. What cannot be redistributed, what can you do? We have 5 options. Insects from food waste, done in Austria. Lactic acid from food waste at another university, Polytechnica, here in Wrocław. Biogas from food waste in the Czech Republic. Hydrochar from food waste at our university. And torrefied pellets from food waste also in Ostrava in Czech Republic. Next week we have a transnational meeting on actually this treatment part. So if you're interested, you can take part online. Just go to our website and then you can register. It's under events. And that's all from my side. So thank you for your attention.
Hello everybody, I'm Agnieszka Medyńska-Juraszek and I'm a soil scientist, so very distant discipline that probably food science. And why I'm here? Because I want to tell you that there is a close connection between the food production and the quality of water and soil. And the project that I will talk about is called FARMWISE, and it's related to making a AI tool for some decision support for the farmers, for the policymakers about the water management and the water quality. So we are working mainly with artificial intelligence. I'm the person who is responsible for collecting data, and this is not what you think. There's just looking for the databases as my colleagues do. I mainly run on the field and collect the soil samples and the water samples and then analyze the samples and then deliver the data for my colleagues. The FARMWISE project is mainly focused on the bridging the gap between the scientific innovations and daily agricultural practices. We have some innovations that are tested in our project. These innovations are mainly related to some biosensors and some sensors which can deliver data from the some environmental parameters into the computer, and then they can teach the AI system. But one of the innovations which are close to my heart is the biochar, and I will tell you a little bit about it later on. What are the key tasks? And all those pictures which are here are AI generated, but I really see the improvement of the AI generated pictures since we started the project 2 years to 2.5 years ago, and now it's not making so many mistakes in the writings especially. But also you can, I think they are addressed much better. But the thing that what we want to address in this project is mainly to build a AI-driven decision support system. So we try to compile and make a modular platform which is run on based on artificial intelligence, some machine learning and interactive visual analytics. It's very complicated even for me because now I'm not an IT specialist, but my colleagues know a little bit more about it. But anyway, it should be a very pretty easy tool that will help the farmer to make the decision what to do if he's running out of water in his farm. That's very shortly. And we of course have to find out what we want to find out what will happen. We know that you all know that we have a problem with the water carriage, the problem with the water quality, and of course this is a problem for the food production because we need to increase the costs and the amount of money that we need to pay to produce 1 kilo of apples when we have less water, when we cannot use the fertilizers and so on. So we want to predict how this changes or which direction the changes will go in terms of the water resources that we have in Europe. And data about the water resources we have now are collected and put into this artificial intelligence system. But we also want to see what will happen with the time. So we want to make scenarios for the next 20, 50, and 70 years. And see how the climate change will affect the processes of the agricultural production. And we also know that not only the problem of the water carriage is the problem that we need to face pretty closely. Today I went to the field, and the moisture that we have in the soil is below the critical value, so it's approximately 15% of water which is available for the plants. That's not a lot. The 30 is the minimum. So now we have the problem which we need to face. If we will not have the water, we will not have the food. But we also have the problem that the quality of water goes really down, especially if we try to use a lot of fertilizers and a lot of chemical substances that support the plant growth and protect them from the pests. So we have some tests for the sensors and some biomonitoring systems that collect data in the real time about the quality of the water which is stored in the soil, so the water which is actually delivered straightly to the plant system. We also try to deploy the precision of agri-tech. If we want to save the water, if we want to not to lose the water, we have to apply the water very precisely. Precisely means under each plant, I might say this way. So we need to deliver first the data where we need the water, how often we should irrigate our field or the plant, depending on the demand, on the water, on the temperature and other factors. And we need to send the farmer on the field to do the job and irrigate the water with the minimum losses. So this system and this program that will be developed in this project will help the farmer to decide how much water he should exactly put under each plant, depending on the soil moisture, the temperature which is outside at the moment, the type of the plant that he's growing, and the particular part of the Europe, because it's going to be totally different when we are talking about the south part of the Europe and we are talking about the north. But at this moment we can even see that the parts which were high moisture countries like UK or Finland or Sweden, they also face the problem of the droughts, but they are more lucky because they have water that can be used for the agriculture. In Poland, in most of the south part Europe countries like Spain or Italy, we don't have resources to put the water under the plants, so they need to be only, or they are only rain fed. We also want to foster the multi-stakeholders. We want to set up regional and European multi-stakeholder networks, and we are building in this project this international stakeholder network. We have in the consortium, we have 19 countries which joined us, from the Finland Lund, which is university, which is the main leader of the project, up to the south parts, and so the parts which have the problem with the water scarcity for many years, so they already have the experience. We are testing, as I told you, innovations, and I'm innovation provider. We are producing here at our university the Innovation 7, which is called biochar. There was something already about the hydrochar and torrefication. So actually we can use all type of the biomass, including the food waste, to produce biochar. And in this project, we are teaching farmers how to do it on the farm. So we are providing very, very simple systems to produce biochar out of the waste that they are producing during the agricultural procedures. Mainly this is like straw, the waste from the prunings, the waste from the milling of the grains, and all of this waste can be transferred to a biochar. What is a biochar? Biochar is a highly chiropotenious material. We can say that with the properties similar to the charcoal, but the name of the biochar was used on purpose to say that this material can be used as a soil ameliorant. What does it mean? When we put the biochar into the soil, back into the soil, we can increase the water capacity, so the soil can retain more water. The outflow of the water is also lower, so we can keep this water for plants for a longer time. But also, due to the very high absorption capacity of the biochar, it can absorb all the contaminants which are present. So, for example, the residues of the pesticides, the heavy metals, and other contaminants which are also derived for purpose or for accidentally to soil. And the biochar, it's a method to close the loop and produce in agricultural as a zero waste production, so we can transfer all types of the biowaste, as I told you, whatever you wish. So we have very strange materials that we were transferring to the biochar, including rabbit poops, sewage sludge, and the food delivered from schools as well, but more as a hydrochar. And we can make a very valuable and what is more important, very recalcitrant material. What does it mean? That by introducing biochar to soil, we can trap the CO2, and we can sequestrate the carbon for a very long time, because this material is not biodegradable, or it's biodegradable but in a very, very long time. So it's more stable than typical organic matter like compost, like bio-waste, like plant residues. So we can keep the effect of the water, increased water capacity for the longer time compared to the traditional materials which are added. We can also increase the yields of the plants, and we have 3 trials, one in Poland, one in Italy, and one in Spain. So very different climatic zones, but also the same problem of the water deficiencies. And in all 3 pilot studies, we can see that the yields of the plants which grow on the biochar trials is increasing. In terms of Poland, we grow barley, which is about 20% of increase of the yield. In the Italy, we grew apples and pears, and they had also 14% of increase of the yield last year. And in Spain, we are waiting for the data because they are using it for citrus trees, which have a longer vegetation cycle. So it seems very promising, but also there are a lot of things about biochar that also help to improve the quality of the product. We have better quality, more vitamins, more sugars, less water in the fruits, and we were testing this on different types of fruits in the greenhouses and also in the orchids. So to take the home message, we are trying to close the loop between the food production and the waste, which can be transferred to a very useful soil material. And of course, we want to mitigate the main problems that we have during the food production. So the problem with the drought and also this problem of the pollution that agricultural is unfortunately delivering. If you have any further questions, you can visit our website, FARMWISE project, and thank you for this little time to my talk.
Food City Boost, unlocking Europe's urban farming potential.